Good morning, everyone. My name is Mohammed Saddiq. I come from Nigeria. I want to tell you a story about my life. Before then, I want you to imagine this. A woman giving birth to a baby on a floor or inside a toilet or in an open field behind the house. This is a story of a village where I was born and grew up. I don't know why, but women in that village like giving birth in a filthy environment, not minding the unsanitary condition, the risks that they are exposed to. That village is called Kabri, and it's a small village in Mambila Plateau in northeast Nigeria. Mambila Plateau is a very nice place. It's the most beautiful place in Nigeria. Everyone loves it because it has mountains, green valleys, it has abundance of fruits, the weather is good, it's not hot like other parts of Nigeria. Everyone wants to go there. But it is a place that is famous for bad routes. You can drive a car to another village, you need a motorcycle if you don't have a donkey. We all love the village anyway. My parents still live there. My siblings live there. And they are still there as I talk now. My father had 3 wives, and my mother happened to be the second one. My father has over 20 children, and my mother alone has 11. I am the 7th of the 11. My mother had 6 male and 5 females. And my mother had 3 pairs of twins, and I happen to be one of the twins. I can imagine all these birth processes she has passed through, and I was wondering what happened on 29 October 1984 when I was born. Was I born in the toilet? Or behind the house in the bush? Or on a bare floor? When I was preparing for this talk this morning, I called my wife, and I told her that I was going to share a story that she knows about, which is about my sister who died. And she said to me, that is no longer news, because just last week, her cousin gave birth, and she bled so much that she fainted, and everyone thought she was dead. Her mother traveled to the next village, not knowing what was happening at home. She was called to come back. Everyone was crying. The men, as usual in our community, the men have gone to dig the grave. And before they came back from digging the grave, the woman who was asked to stay with the body saw her shake her leg. She was not dead. She survived. But she was still weak. And there was no healthcare facility to take her to. You needed a donkey, you needed a motorcycle, or you have to literally carry her on a stretcher with 4 men holding the stretcher by each corner to the nearby hospital, which is a general hospital about 50 miles away. That means a walking of 50 miles. And I began to wonder, I said, my sister's story has to still come. The reason is simple, because her cousin survived. My sister, even though many other women did not survive, and this is to tell you that every household in my community has a story of a woman dying of a childbirth or a related complication because of giving birth. Every family. And here is my sister that I always think about. She is one of my favorite sisters because I stay in a faraway Gombe. Each time I go to the village, she knows my favorite food. I will go to her and we will chat overnight. The last time I saw her was in 2010 when I went to the village to see her, to see my parents. And she had given birth to a baby girl 2 days ago before I went. So in the night, I went to greet her. She is the only one that is married within the village. Others married outside the village. So maybe that's why she is our favorite, because she's always close when we go to see our parents. So she was seated at the edge of the bed, breastfeeding the young baby, leaned toward the baby. And being a nurse, I was like advising her to get a armchair because leaning while breastfeeding may cause her a back pain. And she laughed at me, believing that in Africa, men should not know anything of those things. So she was laughing at me. And 2 days after, I barely spent up to 1 week in the village because I have a lot of commitment. I had to go back to my work. And a week later, I was told my sister complained of fever, headache, and dizziness. And she told her husband, as usual, because there is no primary healthcare facility in the village, went to a nearby patent store. And patent medicine stores are operated by people who have not even gone to school. The only person when I was growing up that was called a doctor in my village has not gone to even a secondary school. And I don't know why they call him doctor, because he sells medicines. So he went there to buy paracetamol, and maybe the other drug, I guess, should be anti-malaria drug. She gave her. Late in the night, the condition became a lot worse. And they had to wait till morning because there is no health facility within the community to take her until morning hours. And her husband will have to convey her using his motorcycle because he has a motorcycle. And she was too fragile to sit by herself on the motorcycle. He has to use a wrapper to tie her on his body so that she cannot fall off the motorcycle. Because remember, the route is very bad. You need to up and down while driving. And they went to a particular spot where I will not forget. And he felt that she was falling on the other side, and he had to brake and stop immediately. He thought because before they left, she was very weak, and he thought he was actually falling off. He wanted to adjust, and he found out that her body was very cold. He struggled, I don't know how he did to bring her down to the floor. I don't know either they both fall from the motorcycle, but what I know is he laid her down in the middle of nowhere because it was not close to the village. They were almost reaching the general hospital, which is 50 miles from our village. And his wife died right there. And that was my sister. So he was at the point of deciding where to take the body to. And he came back. He literally left the body there, came back to the village to inform my father and other people. They all went there, not conveying the body back to the village. They dug a hole by the roadside and buried her right there. And that is a place where we pass when we are going to the village. Each time I'm going to the village, either I like it or not, I have to see where my sister was buried. And so she was buried there. She couldn't get a chance for her body to be conveyed back to the village, which is a cultural thing that everyone should be buried in the village. So she was the only one that was buried outside the village in the middle of nowhere. And probably animals pass over her grave so often. So the young child, the child she left later died 3 months after due to malnutrition because she was actually breastfeeding. So I think about my sister's story all the time because, not because she was the only victim of this neglect, just because I always see her grave by the roadside whenever I'm going to the village. And I know every household in that village has a story about one or two women dying from pregnancy-related complications. So I now started thinking, because I'm a nurse and I work in a teaching hospital, I'm paid for the job I'm doing, and have been working for like 2 years, and that village still remains without a health facility. What can I do? The work I'm doing, I'm paid for, which means either even if I do it, if I'm not paid, I will not go and do the work. I will need to do something that, even if I'm paid or not, I will continue to do it. So I started volunteering with an organization that usually goes for health outreach in villages to support people, to check up their vital signs, to give simple medications. And they stopped because the owner of the organization left the community and they stopped. So I decided that I will continue that. I convinced one of my friends and we made a plan of every year we are going to my village to provide a one-day medical service because we are nurses, we have friends who are doctors. And we did that for 2 years out of my pocket. When we are traveling, all expenses are on me. That was the agreement. And one of my brother, who now lives in UK, came to the village on the day we organized outreach. People gathered, and he was amazed by what we were doing. But he told me that it seemed to be an unsustainable approach. I should make it an organization so that I will be able to inspire other people, and other people can find a space to join me. That's how I founded a non-profit organization called Rural Health Mission Nigeria. To date, we have conducted several health outreaches which have impacted over 10,000 people. And we have also supported over 1,000 pregnant women with what we call life-saving bed kits. It's just a small delivery pack that will ensure a woman, wherever she is giving birth, the environment is clean, the equipment they are using are clean. She don't have to sit on the bare floor. There will be something she can sit on, even if there's no health facility there. And we also supported over 100,000 children below 5 years with micronutrients, simple micronutrients, so that they cannot die of malnutrition. Unknowingly to me, all this I was doing was actually health inequity activity I was doing until I came across Atlantic Fellowship. I went to the website and read up amazing stories, inspiring stories. I watched videos, and I said, this is a community that aligns to my goals and aspirations. I should be part of this. I now went on to see how I can apply. I first checked the eligibility criteria. I began to check up names. I found some names that is familiar to me. I got in touch, guided, and I applied. And when I came to this fellowship, I had several challenges, leadership challenges, terrible ones, because my team was not an organized team. I do not have a sustainable fundraising strategy. It was just sometimes I pay out of my pocket, sometimes the people would donate. It was just confusing. And the team, sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't show up. So I was in a team where everyone depends on me to do anything. If I'm not there, nothing happens. That was my organization. I'm only the one writing grants. I'm the only one replying emails. I'm the only one attending meetings with stakeholders. And I had to figure out, now I'm in a fellowship, I had to figure out how I'm going to benefit my organization and my community from this fellowship. I had to also figure out how to organize my team. Then I have an equity project that I had to figure out how to engage the community, raise funds, identify stakeholders, which I had literally had no idea where I'm going to start. At the initial convening, I was confused. When everyone presented their stories, I felt I was the worst person there. I felt people are accomplished. They had their things well organized, their teams are organized. They had a well thought out projects. They had a plan. As I was thrown into small groups, I began to meet people like Oscar, Anna. I began to meet people like Q, who usually inspires us. Scott, very intelligent whenever he speaks. So I found out that this is a community I have assets surrounding me that I can explore to grow also. So I began to interact freely with everyone, and I felt welcome. As we were introduced to the leadership and the health equity modules, it's changed my thinking, it's changed my perspective. The health equity module actually deepened my understanding of what health equity is all about. The 6 building blocks by Professor Sibley is something I couldn't forget. I admire her approach, the practical approach of putting us through the step-by-step on how to address health equity. And it's also helped me to identify other opportunities for advocating to my community, which I never knew before. The leadership model, I remember in our one-on-one meeting, first one-on-one meeting with Kate, I said to her 3 things: that I wanted to build capacity for my team, I wanted to raise funds for my project, and I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of failing because my team do not know anything about my organization. She mentioned this to me: Mohammed, you have to trust your team. You have to give out responsibilities to your team and trust them to do it. I was scared, actually, but I began to apply the recommendations one by one, from one-on-one coaching to stakeholders mapping to distributing leadership. And the results were amazing, because my team began to take leadership, share leadership with me. Some of them start learning how to write grants. Some of them now lead field teams. Before, I had to be present when we are doing a field activity. I do not have to be present now. I have teams who can lead field activities, write grants now. I had to focus on other important issues, which will bring more donors to our organization now. The lesson I learned from this is trusting your team also makes them build their confidence and also build their ability to deliver. And they trust and they take responsibility. They become more accountable to themselves if you allow them to do. So my health equity project became so successful because of Kate and all of you. We raised funds that exceeded our target with about 40%. And that is why we increased our reach from 3 communities to 10 communities now. And we increased the beneficiaries target from 300 to 500 now. And we train, instead of 30, we now train 50 bed attendants in the health equity project. And I thank you all for that. Looking back since last year when I joined this prestigious fellowship, I have met a lot of incredible people who are doing amazing things in their organizations and communities. I am deeply inspired by what each of you are doing in your community. I am proud to have known and connected with you on this journey. When I look through this room, I can see hope. I can see leaders, great leaders. I can see love. I can see unity of purpose. And above all, I can see a new world where equity, justice, are our core values, our religion, and our tribe. I am certain that with our collective and strong support from the fellowship, we can all make the world a better place for all. As we graduate tomorrow and go back to your various places, I'd like you to always think about a pregnant woman who delivers on a bare floor. Always think about a woman who had to walk 50 miles to access health services. I want you to always prioritize the health of women and children in your work. Let's explore the strong bond created by this fellowship to support each other mentally and physically. Let's always reach out to each other and ask, I'd like to come to your country. I'd like to go to visit Mexico. Let's reach out. I'd like to go to Peru. Yeah, I'd like to go to Peru. Let's reach out. Let this relationship not end tomorrow. Let's reach out to each other. I know the fellowship have seen something in us. That is why we were selected from thousands of applicants. And I'd like us to continue to embody the core values of this fellowship. Let's continue to support the mission and the vision of this fellowship and that of its founders. Thank you so much.